Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 3 of ProducTVtalk. Today I have a great guest with us. He's a product management guru with 20 years of product management experience. I have been so lucky to work with him on a few projects when we were both at Cisco WebEx. He has been then at Adobe. He's a product leader. Please let me introduce with immense pleasure my friend, Don Brown.
Thank you, Dario. I'm really happy that you invited me, and I'm glad to be able to contribute to your new channel.
Fantastic. Don, why don't I ask you question number 1 right off the bat. How did your workday change in the last couple of years?
As a product manager with global responsibility, the use of virtual meetings and those types of tools is not new, and it's in common use, thank goodness. What really changed was more emphasis. I spent less time on productivity and more time on empathy, especially with the engineering teams, engineering individual contributors. A lot of folks were remote. They felt isolated, and so making an effort to engage and connect with people was even a higher priority than it's been in the past. Studies show that up to 30% of people are disengaged at work to begin with, and during pandemic there is a extra excuse. So over-rotating into engagement on my part was really the biggest change I made.
How do you prioritize what needs to be done?
Product managers are the voice of the product. And so we are the carriers of the vision. Oftentimes it's our vision that's being carried forward, but the important thing is that vision needs to be communicated, and even more frequently when we have so many folks remote, and so many other distractions. I think that making sure that, can I articulate the vision? Is it clear to me? Is it clear to people who know nothing about the product? And so I test my visions on people that are not related to the product, so that if they can see it, then the folks that are deeply involved in development can see it too. And so the important thing here is, again, this is a continuation of the theme of engagement, and the idea is that I have to be engaged with both with the dev teams, but I have to be engaged with my management and with the customer to make sure that the articulation of the vision aligns with their expectations. And so these things are complicated. And in fact, I think one of the most important things that a product manager can do is act as a translator between the various audiences that are stakeholders in the outcome.
Yeah, I absolutely can recognize that as a product manager. So Don, how do you manage the timing across all these various stakeholders you have to deal with?
Well, it's really a question of alignment with each of the stakeholders. The main stakeholders are the customer and business management, followed by the dev team. Now that may seem a little bit off depending on how well engaged you are with your dev team, but really, customers are demanding things because they're paying for them. Management is demanding a timing because, well, we have a set release schedule, or we have other priorities besides the ones that you and I may be working on. The dev team has priorities based on their sprint cycles and what they can actually do. And so the job of the product manager in that is to be the lubricant between these three boulders that are rubbing against each other. And so the idea is that customers, it was a surprise to me early on that customers are surprisingly flexible if they understand the why. Management will be flexible if they understand and are aligned around the vision of what you're trying to accomplish. So again, it's a communication question. Finally, the dev team is, we want to keep going down the pathway that we're working. And so to the extent possible, I want to disturb the dev team as little as possible. And so those are constraints, and they're general, but in the end, it has to do with aligning those three sets of priorities. And none of them are easy, but really that's where the time comes in. If you look at your desktop at any given moment, I'd say that you have 3 to 5 applications open that have to do with communication. So the most important thing that you're doing is communicating. And if you are consistent with your vision and you are aligned with your management and open with customers, the prioritization and the management of the time will be easier. It will never be easy, but it will be easier.
Now we got to our signature moment, Don.
Okay.
What is your productivity tip that you feel sharing today with our audience?
So the most important thing you can do is communicate. Now that seems obvious, but I have a voice and a communication to the audience, my customers. I have a different voice and a communication method with my dev teams, and I have yet a third with my management. All of those require empathy, regardless of what the individual messages are. We have to have empathy for our customers, empathy for our dev teams, and empathy for our management to understand the business. Oftentimes, I've left the third thing out, and that's something that I've had to work on personally. So, communication.
Thank you so much, Don. You gave us fantastic insights, a glimpse into your role that you've been mastering throughout decades, and thank you for your productivity tips. I think we'll all benefit from that. And thank you everyone who's watching this video. Please subscribe. We're gonna have more interviews with more guests, but in the meantime, Don, thank you again. It was fantastic.
Thank you, Dario.